Before we get into this video, I want to let you guys know that the official DualDEATHLucario Discord server is live. This is a great place to hang out with everyone, play some Pokken, get some advice on playing the game, and also just having a good time in general. Links in the description. Welcome back, lads and lasses, DualDEATHLucario here, and welcome back to another DualDEATH reaction. Now, this time I'm not going to react to a Pokken match per se, I'm going to react to a very popular Pokken video that's been going around the last few weeks that people have been singing their praises about. This is the Pokken Tournament Character Overviews. So this is just basically looking at every character in the game and briefly saying what they're good at, what their strengths are, what their weaknesses are, just to help people who maybe don't know who they want to play find a main. It was made by Coro, or Coronation Design, and it's actually broke 1,000 views in less than a week, and that's pretty impressive for a Pokken video. And I've heard a lot of people talking about it. They've been singing their praises, saying this is an amazing video, it's one of the best videos that Pokken's seen, and it's very informative. I'm going to react to it because I've never seen it. I've never seen it. When it came out, people were asking me about it, and I thought to myself, I'm going to react to it and give my opinions. Say what I agree with, what I disagree with, what I think of each character, and just go from there. Now, I realised in my last react video I didn't have the audio on, which wasn't too big of a deal because it was just commentary, but this time I need to have the audio on, so I'm hoping that is on correctly. I need to fix this. That's the best I can do. So, let's just hope that the audio is fine. I will be pausing it when I want to bring up a point. I don't know what my computer's doing. Ah, that's what it's doing. So, let's just get into the video. Let's just get into the video. Alright, let's get into it. I just want to point out, I love this shot, for reasons. For reasons, you know them. Okay, so the video isn't really explaining what it's about, well, I'm guessing if you just look at the title, you'll know what it's about. But that's kind of something I wasn't expecting, just jumping right into it. Now, as I'm aware that they are doing them in alphabetical order, so I wasn't sure what way they were going to do alphabetical order, just in order of how they appear in game, but we're doing it this way, so we'll just hop into the first character right now, who is Aegis. I like the editing already.
Aegis is a technical stance character with extremely strong pressure and high damage, and the potential to snowball games once he gets going.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. He is a stance fighter. That's actually something I don't hear people say a lot. Did I pick up my capture card there? I don't know. But people say, like stance characters. If you played something like Soul Calibur, that game has characters who can go into multiple different stances. I think what makes Aegis so dumb is the fact that he's got armor on his, but you can grab it. But yeah, stance fighter is actually something I'm glad someone's brought up. I've never heard anyone mention stance fighter when it comes to Aegis.
His regular blade form pokes reach far and confirm into high damage combos, while his shield form trades the ability to block for constant armor and powerful zoning options. He can change stances off of multiple moves and benefits from shifting stances often.
Yeah, he definitely benefits from shifting stances often. Look at this bloody attack boost. God damn. Like, I think there's just a problem with him gaining an attack boost every time he goes into the shield form. It's just absolutely ridiculous, and it means that he can basically invalidate burst characters. Like Shadow Mewtwo, you have to be careful against Aegis because he could just sharpen himself and suddenly his 4Y is a punish and he could just throw it out.
With healing or positive buffs. He can also put mist on the field that explodes if he switches stances, adding additional pressure.
Disgusting.
Lastly, he brings over Guard Impact from Soul Calibur, but unlike in that game...
Yeah, the actual... So first you talk about the stances, now you mentioned the Guard Impacts. I see you, Coro. I see you're a man of culture.
He can start a combo if he gets a successful parry,
Yeah, because you can't do that in Soul Calibur. Soul Calibur parries just leave you extremely plus, and while you can actually combo with Soul Calibur parries, your opponent can just parry you back, but then you can do a parry break, or a break attack, and that creates an awkward 50-50. Aegislash is like, nah, I'm just going to combo you. And the parry is, what is it, like minus 11, so it's very hard to punish. It's very hard to punish, you have to be fast. It basically, the other thing about the parry is, it invalidates a lot of really good Okis. Like, Lucario's main Oki, which is 6x, doesn't work against Aegislash because he can just parry it. So you have to actually have different Okis for Aegislash, which is actually good. I like the fact that I can actually get away with using Orosphere Oki and tell people it's good.
Slash has a weak shield, low health, and cannot afford to make too many bad decisions. But if he plays his cards right, it's very possible for the opponent never to get their turn.
Yep, I'll agree with that. Yeah, he is quite a hard character to play, but Aegislash, he does have the weakness of low health or low shield. He also gets kind of bopped by zoners. He can anti-zone, but a lot of good zoners will give him trouble. So, I agree with pretty much everything that was said about Aegislash, no complaints. So, first up, I approve of Aegislash, and I do think Aegislash is a top 3 character. He's bloody ridiculous, I friggin' hate this sword. But, and I love the Soul Calibur references. So far this video is off to a great start. Oh god, no, no, no. No! 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 This is what I'm going to be very critical of. Let's see.
Blastoise has high health and the ability to buff himself up further, making him an immense tank of a Pokemon.
Yeah, that was a punish.
Perhaps in some respects, the tankiest in the roster.
Yeah, okay.
He likes to maintain a mid-range game, where all his strongest options are primed to land. Within this range, he has several specialized tools to threaten the opponent with, like high chip damage, long-range grabs, and
long-range grabs that happen to be hell reactable. I will admit Blastoise is the tank of Pokken. He is the bulkiest character. He can give himself defense buffs, but I need to be salty here for a minute. His defense buffs don't last as long as Aegislash's, and he needs to do a release input for it. Aegislash can just shield form change whenever he likes. Fucking Aegislash. Also, what is his face? I guess, is that the face we use when fighting LIBRE? Oh, Spy, yeah, no Spy.
an armored gap closer. Sadly, Blastoise suffers from very low mobility and the worst frame data in the game.
Yep, worse
So
frame
he has
data.
quite the bad disadvantage state once it's no longer his turn.
He doesn't just have a bad disadvantage state. Like, the point they made that is Blastoise is a mid-range fighter. And he is. Like, you get someone into Water Spout range, or you set someone up with an Oki in Water Spout range, and you're golden. That is the range you want to get in with Blastoise. Up close, he kind of struggles. He can cancel his moves into something like the Shell Fortress. He can 5YY, Shell Fortress back, but a lot of characters, like Lucario, can true punish that. And I'm pretty sure Shadow Mewtwo can do it as well. I wouldn't be surprised if Mewtwo... there's probably a lot of characters that can do it, but no one knows how to do it because they don't think they don't actually lab against Blastoise. And I do think Blastoise is the worst character in the game. I talked about this in my tier list. I don't know when that's going up. I don't know when this is going up. I know I'm recording it before the tier list, but I don't know when they're going up. But I think Blastoise is the worst character. And if you disagree, then I think you're wrong. Intermediate, yeah, I wouldn't say Blastoise is harder than Aegislash. He's easy to me, but that's because I spent a lot of time on him. But I do think he is pretty... he's meh. So next up is Ken. I'm interested to see what they'll say about Ken as well. I do agree with a lot of the things said about Blastoise, I just need to point that out. Again, Blastoise, he got a thumbs up from me.
Blaziken is a high damage, high speed glass cannon. Unique to him is a mechanic where holding down the A button instead of tapping it allows him to use powered up versions of his specials.
Yeah, Blaziken's the only one that can do powered up versions of moves by holding down buttons. I had to think about that for a minute. It's just I heard the only character that can hold down, and I was like thinking, no, it's not. Oh, hold down buttons to get special. Yeah, he is the only character that can do that. But yeah, Blaziken is a glass cannon. You might think he's not because he has 600 health, but he's definitely a glass cannon because one mistake with Blaziken and you are done.
Every time he uses the powered up versions, however,
like an actually played in this, I'm surprised.
he loses some of his life, which converts into grey recoverable life. This has to be managed carefully. If done,
that's why we run health supports. Though no Blazekins actually do that. I still think Togekiss and Blaziken are good.
done properly, Blaziken possesses strong shield pressure and very high damage conversions off of very simple combos. If you like playing high risk and high reward rushdown, Blaziken is the character for you. Be careful though, most of his gameplay revolves around attacking from the air, so he's extremely susceptible to being anti-air.
Let's go Fanny Star, best player in Singapore, I'm joking. But they did mention Blaziken's weakness to anti-airs, but the thing that makes Blaziken in particularly very bad is the fact that if there are characters with frame 1 invincible anti-airs that gain invincibility the moment they're pressed. And if you just mash those against Blaze Kicks, he's done. And I'm not sure how many characters have them off the top of my head. I think it's about 5, 6, or 7, but that's at least a third of the cast. So a third of the cast can absolutely invalidate Blaziken. But Blaziken also struggles against zoners. Like, he does struggle to approach, which is a point I don't think they mentioned. So Blaziken, I think they highlighted his strengths well, because he is a glass cannon character who could run you over. I said this earlier in my daily challenge. He's a scrub killer. But I don't really think they went into detail of his weaknesses. But I also understand that they don't want to make this video an hour long, so I'll cut them some slack on that. And they don't want to mention particular things. That's what I'm here for, reacting to this. But yeah, I'll agree with that. And I do think Blaziken is pretty basic and pretty easy. The only bad thing that's hard about him is learning when to not Unga Bunga. When to actually control yourself. So next is Braixen. I'm again interested to see what they say about Braixen. Oh, it's the context music. I was like, what music's that?
Braixen's the character who has answers for every situation in the game.
Already this is the best description of Braixen I think I've ever heard. Braixen is the best all-rounder in the entire game. You think Lucario and Decidueye are good all-rounders? Braixen is better.
She has the unique ability to cancel her attacks into support calls, letting her keep a lot of her pressure safe.
Not just her pressure safe, she can use it offensively, defensively. She can make supports work that don't normally work. Like, she can actually run Celebi and have it work. If you ever want to hear a DARKRAI complain, play Braixen and run Celebi against them, and they will not be happy. You're constantly denying them BDR.
And, with her ability to build support gauge even from empty hits, she can call supports very often.
Yeah, because of Sunny Days. Sunny Days busted.
She can deal with zoning with her light screen barrier, and has a fast air dash that lets her reposition on the fly.
Wasn't quite an air dash, but well, yeah, there's the air dash. I think the air dash is underrated by most lower level Braixen players. They don't really understand how good it is. But the fact that you can use it with JY is what makes it good, and that's what makes Braixen the best character in Wii U. That air dash JY was just ridiculous. The flame charge is also there.
Braixen is also able to enhance her next special with Sunny Day, and can gain an attack buff by performing it while already enhanced.
I do think that's a little annoying as well, that Braixen can get that easy an attack buff, but it's not as easy as Aegislash, so I'm not going to complain as much.
Her normals involving a stick gives her good reach, and her combo damage is no slouch, especially when enhanced. Braixen takes time to learn given the complexity of her kit, but players who take the time to stick with her will find a very rewarding character with a high skill cap.
Yeah, I will agree with that. Like, Braixen doesn't really have any major weaknesses. Like, she's got no major weaknesses. The only weakness I can say is she does have a very high skill ceiling. Like, Braixen is a difficult character. I think at the mid and lower level she's fine. Like, I can play an okay Braixen, but the higher level Braixens, like people like Shadowcat and Tonosama, disgusting. So I really do agree. An all-rounder character with assist cancels that make her busted. And she's the best all-rounder in the game. Don't at me. Time for Lamp. Yeah, this is the most Chandelure music in the game.
Chandelure is the best at what she does. And what she does is zone.
Best zoner in the game. Like, people think Brixton's the best zoner. Brixton isn't a zoner. We've already discussed that Brixton's an all-round character. She can zone, but she's not a pure zoner like the Lamp is.
Her specials all pierce counters, making the usual way of dealing with zoning ineffective against her.
Can't see to see.
Up close, she has a command counter that pushes the opponent back, making it hard to punish, and a large anti-air that gains high immunity on frame 1.
Like I mentioned against Blaziken, that he struggles against characters who can just invalidate Blazekicks with frame 1 anti-airs. Chandelure's one of them. Chandelure can just... Like, I have friends who play Chandelure, and they've just trained themselves to 8Y the moment they see someone's feet leave the ground. And it's a very good idea. Like, if I was a Chandelure main, I would definitely be having those reactions as well, but... We can't all have that frame 1 invincible anti-air privilege. Lamp!
She has a half-screen command grab that gets more powerful the more debuffs are on the opponent, which isn't hard to set up, as several of her attacks will inflict them on hit.
Don't get grabbed.
If backed into a corner, she can use the powerful red armor overheat, though this will leave her with 2 debuffs.
She also has Smog, which is a pretty good get-off-me tool, since, yeah, if it misses, it's gonna be bad, but if you're not aiming your Smogs correctly, then you deserve to get hit. Your opponent might jump, but like the only way to beat Smog is to jump it, but jumping against Shandy is risky because of that frame 1 invincible anti-air. And there's only 2 characters that I'm aware of, Lucario and Aegislash, that can true punish Smog on block, and it has to be point blank, so Smog's a good get-off-me tool.
Chandelure's moves all have slow startup, and most of them can be jumped or ducked if predicted, which means careless players will find themselves getting punished very badly, as she has low health. Players picking her up for the first time would do well to keep that in mind.
Yeah, that's pretty accurate about Lamp. Like, you've got things like Will-O-Wisp, you can beat that with jump, but if you jump too late, then you're going to get hit with a Flame Burst, a 6X, a 5Y, but if they're constantly throwing out Flame Bursts, predicting you to jump, and you don't, you can get something like we saw in this video, which was Empoleon Aqua Jet punish, and Lucario Bone Rush punish, basically any lunge. So Chandelures have to play very, they have to either predict and guess or react to your actions. But the debuffs also help Chandelure, because as Beth mentioned, her main weakness is her health. She's very frail, but she can get an attack down on you, and suddenly she's not taking as much damage. Her frame data is pretty bad up close. It typically doesn't matter because she's half screen, so you're not going to punish her. Like, laser's very punishable, but you're not going to punish it from full screen. So the frame data is a problem, but I would say that she's still the best zoner. Without a doubt. Well, oh, still Charizard, I forgot about him. I'm interested to see what they say about Zard. Because I've been saying Zard is a little more underrated recently. But give me a lot of Fanny Star clips.
Charizard is a grappler.
Can I just say first up, I'm proud. I remember the first time I played this girl. I'm proud of how far she's come.
With big buttons and big damage.
Yep.
He's got high risk, high reward options against an opponent on the defense, with his simple but devastating specials. With his ability to glide, he also has a surprising amount of aerial mobility, and can jump cancel several moves into said glide.
The jump cancel is truly what makes him good. Because I learned it early on when I was learning Charizard. You can do really fancy stuff out of 2x, but often you won't react to it hitting. So you use 2x, you jump cancel, and if you hit, then you can confirm it. If not, you can just jump back and be safe. And if they try to punish it, you can no whiff, and you can get another potential punish with something like a Fire Punch or another 2x. I do like Charizard's long range. It reminds me of Swordies. It reminds me of the sword. Let's go long range.
Long range pokes and anti-zoning game gives him an extremely large threat zone.
So you can do shit like that off of 2x, but only if it's a punish, not a YOLO 2x hitting.
Charizard is extremely slow on the ground, and when he's too close, he lacks safe options, making some matchups quite polarizing.
Yeah, he gets zoned. He gets zoned and his frame data is not the best. His best defensive option is Fire Punch, which isn't exactly safe. But it can still work if the opponent's too button happy.
His optimal damage routes are quite technical in execution.
Yep.
But if you can get past that barrier, you'll find a character that's extremely intimidating to fight.
Yeah, Charizard is intimidating as hell. He has a good whiff punisher with 2x, I will acknowledge that. He's a great grappler. He's slow and gets zoned, and if you've got someone who's got really good frame data, like Lucario, he will struggle. He will struggle. But I do acknowledge the love that Charizard got here. I do think he's underrated a little bit. Alright, now we're on Gunk. Again, I'm curious to see what they'll say about him. Good choice of music.
CROAGUNK is perhaps the most unorthodox character in the game.
Yep.
He can throw random objects at the opponent, with the better ones showing up more often as he gets lower in health. He has odd moves that involve applying buffs or debuffs, as well as moves that change in properties depending on the state of said buffs and debuffs on both himself and the opponent.
Ow.
He can deal immense chip damage with his main projectile, though it would never actually kill the opponent. He can also float and swim in the air, leading to...
Yeah, he does have a really good air game. And those buffs and debuffs can both help him and hurt him. Like, yeah, it gives him a powerful whiff punisher and Thief that's really hard to deal with a lot of the time, and it's really good for dealing with counters because of its weird hitbox. But if you buff someone and they end up hitting you hard, you're gonna pay for it. Like, that moment when a CROAGUNK gives a Shadow Mewtwo double buffs, and then the CROAGUNK jumps and Shadow Mewtwo just bursts him and kills him. I've been there. I've been there.
some of the hardest, yet wackiest combos you'll see in this game. If you're the type of player who likes playing the weirdos, then this frog might be what you want.
The only problem I really have here is they didn't mention his weaknesses. His frame rate is a little whack, he's very punishable, his damage is pretty meh, and that's another thing, like, his combo game is actually the hardest. I do think he's got the hardest combos in the game, the swim combos, the swim loops. And it's just so weird that the hardest character to do combos with is also one of the worst characters. It's really bad, and those debuffs can backfire. He lacks range. Range is probably his biggest weakness. And he can get zoned pretty easily. Like, he doesn't have anti-zoning tools, he's not great at approaching. He's good in the air, but again, that just opens him up to things like Rotom and those Frame 1 invincible anti-airs we've talked about. Or in my case, just yeeting him into orbit with 6Y. Yeah, I have a lot of merch on this table. I'm a connoisseur. So, we're finally done with the C's, now we're on the D characters. We salute the gunk. That's good music for DARKRAI. I like the music choices. I will say I've enjoyed this video so far.
DARKRAI is a tricky, non-traditional zoner. He can create risk.
I wouldn't call him a zoner, but I would say he's a non-traditional one. He's more of a trapper than a zoner. Just watching this match makes me sad. Shadowcat first. DARKRAI versus Rocks versus Garchomp.
That fire after a delay, and plays phantoms that can convert into different types of projectiles with different properties. If he lands Dark Void, he enters Bad Dreams Rising mode
and becomes the best character in the game. BDR is freaking ridiculous.
Which changes up his moveset into one of the strongest in the game, with long-lasting hitboxes and new powerful moves.
Long-lasting hitboxes, good frame data, amazing projectiles, great defensive options, powerful moves and command grabs, resets that actually benefit him because he can just reset you back to full screen where he can zone you and gets double buffs. Batteries Rising DARKRAI is insane. Insane! But, let me hear the but.
This lasts until the phase shifts back to field, but it's very possible to take rounds off of a single BDR activation.
Yes, but what's the downside?
However, if he loses field phase and is stuck in duo without BDR,
he becomes one of the worst characters in the game. I'm just gonna say it.
Be at a disadvantage, and tends to struggle extremely hard to get his momentum back.
Yeah, he becomes probably the worst character in the game. All those benefits I mentioned, great defensive options, yeet. Long-lasting hitboxes, no. The frame data stays the same. The damage, nope. The mix-ups, nope. The reset ability, nope. His Oki game is strong. Like, he does have a strong Oki game with 8x and setting up riffs and then cancelling a Dynasty plot. But I'm just going to say this about DARKRAI players as well. All of them, when minus, all of them, well, pretty much all of them. I've played pretty much every good DARKRAI. Even and Shadowcat, who's a bloody legend, they're a little too Nasty Plot happy when they're minus. I'm just going to say it. And Nasty Plot is reactable. You can grab it on reaction. So, I'm just going to say it. I do think that's a downside. I think DARKRAI players have to train themselves not to press that button. But I understand why they press it. It's good. Zoner, Install, and Trapper. And I would say he's pretty hard. He's, like Braixen, has a bit of a skill ceiling. Okay, Decidueye. I'm curious what's said about Decidueye. Oh, I know this one. I know this song. Good taste in music, Coro.
Decidueye is an all-rounder with a little more complexity than the other all-rounders in this game. He has a flight stance that can transition into an...
Yeah, he is an all-rounder. I'll definitely say he's an all-rounder. Like Braixen, but not quite as good as Braixen. But up there, Decidueye is definitely a very good character.
Number of options. Lunging specials that are relatively safe on block, and all-round good mobility on the ground and in the air.
His mobility, he probably does have the best mobility in the game. Except for maybe Libre, he does have probably the best mobility on the ground and in the air. It's absolutely insane. And when you combine the two, he's great.
Of note is his ability to temporarily lock out opponent supports with grabs and his Spirit Shackle projectiles.
I do think Spirit Shackle is a good projectile, mostly because it does go through most projectiles. Like, Shadow Mewtwo, he can not side Y, he can not neutral Y, he can't even JY against a Decidueye, or you'll just get Spirit Shackled. And then you lose field phase and suddenly you're in trouble. The support close-offs are just a side benefit, but they're rarely, I feel they rarely affect. It's just that Spirit Shackle is such a good projectile.
He can apply strong corner pressure through resets, and has some scary wall combo damage.
He does have the coolest combos in the game. Like, Nia is a goddamn artist with the Decidueye, and I never get tired of watching him do it.
His non-wall combo damage is nothing to write home about, and he struggles a bit with opening up and pressuring shorter characters.
Okay, I was actually interested to see what they would say his weakness is, but yeah, I do think that is a bit of a weakness. He does struggle against shorties. I wouldn't say it's major, because I don't think he has any majorly bad matchups, but I do think that is a weakness that a lot of people don't talk about, so good on you, Coro, for mentioning that one.
Still, with little in the way of glaring weaknesses, Decidueye is a versatile character that can be played well in all matchups.
Yeah, he can basically be played well in all characters. Yeah, he's an all-rounder, footsies, zoner, not a great zoner, but he's all-rounder, footsies, he's good up mix-ups and pressure. I do think the Decidueye is incredibly strong, and I do like the fact that they mentioned he does struggle against short characters, because that's never a weakness I see, but I don't think, as Coro said, it's a glaring weakness. The Decidueye is an intermediate, I do feel, but if we're talking like the highest levels stuff and doing like the crazy wall combos, he's probably after CROAGUNK as the next, no, I would say GENGAR, CROAGUNK, and then Decidueye for hardest combos, but you can just do bread and butter combos and you'll be fine. I'm interested to see what Empoleon gets. Swallow has made people realize that this character's good.
Empoleon is a straightforward character that's all about pressuring the opponent. His Aqua Jet lets him approach at blinding speed, dealing more hits and damage at longer distances. At full screen range, he has a good zoning game that locks down the opponent and does decent chip damage.
Yeah, he can actually zone full screen with Ice Beam, JY, and all his... It's kind of hard because not many Empoleons have really do well at full screen zoning. I would say Ducum/Swallow is the only one who can really zone you out. I mean, other Empoleons can do it, but Ducum can do it to another level. If you've never watched Ducum play Empoleon and zone people out, it's absolutely very incredible to watch. I will say that.
As well as setting up for a safe Aqua Jet approach. When Empoleon opens up the enemy, especially at the wall, he can get some truly monstrous damage in a single duel phase.
Yep.
Empoleon lacks strong anti-airs and defensive options.
It's funny when your best anti-air is 4x. It is a pretty decent anti-air, but it's not amazing, and when your 8Y and your 8A aren't good anti-airs, then you have to rely on 4x. I find that funny. But yeah, his anti-airs suck.
So he depends on having the momentum in order to win.
Disadvantage state is terrible.
His high health and high damage means he can afford to make a few mistakes.
I do think that when it comes, yeah, his defensive options are bad, his range is also lacking, and this is something I want to say particularly to the net play Empoleons. Aqua Jet is not invincible. Level 1 and level 1 and 2 can be side homing by most of the cast. In Joe phase, I don't know, I'm pretty sure Lucario is the only character that can true punish level 1 and 2 Aqua Jet. I don't know, I don't play Empoleon, but I do it with Lucario. But I do think Empoleon struggles more than some people like to. Some people will say, oh yeah, he definitely struggles, and some people say, oh no, Jukum makes him look amazing, and I'm like, yeah, but that doesn't really invalidate his downsides. Jukum's just a god. I wouldn't really say he's basic. He's basic if you're basic. If you're the sort of person who will wall splat someone 8Y, drill pick, waterfall, then yeah, he's basic. If you're trying to do the actual cancels, then like the 2x and surf cancels, then he can be a little tougher. So I'll agree with pretty much everything that was said about Empoleon. So far, we're halfway through and I'm really enjoying this video. It really is well done. And this is a good video for anyone who's wanting to understand. For anyone new who's like, I don't know who to main. Chomp. I'm interested in what they'll say about Chomp.
Garchomp is all about getting in the opponent's face and staying there. He takes the attack, grab, counter triangle and runs with it.
Why I don't like playing him. Or why I'm very basic with playing him and I don't actually try and play like that and I probably struggle for it. It's also why I don't like fighting him, because I hate the RPS triangle.
With his specials gaining unique properties and successfully beating the type of attack it's strong against. He can dig underground, avoiding all attacks or submerge. And he has a running stance with some unique attacks and cancels. His combos involving his run cancels and his charge moves have steeper execution curves.
Yeah, Garchomp is a much difficult character to learn. I mean, I do the basic stuff. And I know people will laugh at this, but I can't do running stance properly because the idea of triple dashing is just, I would never do that. There's no fighting game that I would do that. So, it's just so alien to me, so I don't do it. So, that's why I have to use 4Y and I look like a total scrub. But yeah, Garchomp at the highest levels is pretty hard, and I'm only good at the basics. Like, I can do instant jump release X's pretty consistently in my sleep, but still.
But lead to absolutely disgusting damage in the corner. A situation that can come about often with his wall carry.
Yeah, he's very good at carrying you to the corner. Like, I always would say that mid-screen Sand Tomb is not very scary, and it isn't. In terms of damage, it isn't. but it pushes you closer to the corner, and that's where Chomp wants you. I personally still think the risk is not worth the reward on that, but I'm not a Chomp player and I don't like RPS, so what do I know?
He does lack zoning options and reliable ways to deal with counterattacks, but if you're confident in your reads, you can run a truck over your opponents with this character.
Yeah, it has unblockables. That's nice. But yeah, he doesn't have any projectiles in dual phase. In field phase, he has like one good one, which is JY. Like, I don't think Side Y really is great. But because of that, he has to approach. And if he's fighting a character like Machamp, who wants him to approach, great. But I think one weakness of Garchomp that never got mentioned is his disadvantage state. Garchomp is terrifying if he gets you in the corner, but if you get him in the corner, what does he do? His counter can easily be GX'd, or jumped over, or AX'd, or whatever you prefer. Stone Edge isn't frame 1, so it's not really reliable for beating Meaties. Like, Meaty Garchomp and he will struggle. He can do really weird things with, like, running stance. Like, he can CRC into Release X, but against Lucario, charge 6X into E-Speed, that won't work. The CRC runs won't work against that, because you're just running into an extreme speed. So defensively, I think Chomp struggles. That's something I only found out recently, because I was like, how the hell do I beat Garchomp? And I was like, oh, get him in the corner and just bully him. So that's nice. I would say Garchomp's higher than Intermediate. I don't think he's Intermediate. I would say he's one of the more difficult character. And he is very good at RPSing and Rushdown, but that's probably why I don't like him. I'm not a fan of his playstyles. Guard! I'm interested to see what they say about Guard. Guard's been getting more love over the years.
Gardevoir's game is all about space control,
Yep.
possessing long-range projectiles, and a side of lockdown traps.
Another trapper, like DARKRAI. I would say she's more of a trapper than a zoner.
Her Calm Mind charges her next stored power special, and can be cancelled into a command counter or a teleport.
Or Energy Ball, which is an amazing projectile, which you cannot anti-zone. That makes Gardevoir a lot more trickier to anti-zone, you actually have to think.
She can...
Oh wait, hold on. Speaking of which, I just said that, Garchomp's difficult to anti-zone. This is actually a match, I recognise this one, it's Talonbian versus Kaime. This is one I need to actually react to, because this is probably my favourite Lucario Gardevoir set. Talonbian is absolutely a god here, and the way he handles it. He zones Gardevoir, and with Lucario, and I find that really impressive. I do need to react to this one.
She can place future sight traps that explode after a delay, giving her...
Yeah, and Burst they delay after a second. It's disgusting. Like, Burst Gardevoir is hell underrated. She is so scary with those future sights.
a strong Okizeme game.
Does she have a strong Oki? I mean, I rarely get, oh wait, yeah, with Future Sight, yeah, she does have a strong Okizeme game, but it's kind of one-dimensional because it's just either Future Sight or Grab, or Future Sight and put on more pressure. Her Grab is scary though, because it does 120 damage, but, okay, I'll give it that.
If she manages to land one of her close-range combo starters, opponents will find that Gardevoir has surprisingly high damage combos for a zoner.
She does. Or she can just reset you, put down a Future Sight at your feet and force you to guess. That's what makes Gardevoir kind of hella underrated. But
Gardevoir has a blind spot in the mid-range game, and lackluster defensive options.
yeah, that is absolutely true. She doesn't do well defensively, and mid-range is her weakness. Mid-range is her biggest weakness. Because you can just whiff punish a lot of the moves that the projectiles she throws out at mid-range, or you can just go over them. She does have one of those a really good anti-air, but that's definitely her downside.
So she has to work hard to get someone off her if she is currently lacking a support.
She does like a good get off me 201 support. Umbreon, Ninetales, etc. Ninetales I personally think is the best because it can just set up another wall for you to zone with. So that's good. GENGAR! Busted character. We've been over this. Gengar's dumb.
Gengar is an unorthodox character with options to confuse and frustrate the opponent. He has
He doesn't just confuse the opponents, he confuses spectators.
Invincibility frames on several moves where he completely vanishes at awkward times, letting him bait and punish opponents who
I'm getting tilted watching this. Watching the background footage, Gengar's dumb.
don't know where these timings are. He can steal synergy meter from the opponent and add it to his own, eventually letting him access his burst form, Mega Gengar.
Best burst form in the game.
Essentially an entirely different character, with huge safe hitboxes and a powerful burst attack.
Huge safe hitboxes, full screen projectiles that can just invalidate you, massive damage. Still got those dumb iframes, and yeah, don't block.
His set play can be powerful, but if forced into the defensive and unable to build meter, Gengar struggles to get damage in close rounds.
I will say that defensively, it's not a massive weakness. I think Gengar's biggest weakness is the fact that his iframes can be exploited. Like, you can just bait them, but if a good Gengar knows that you're going to do that, like, if a Gengar's like, oh, he's gonna wait for me to wake up 5x, so I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it, he's gonna delay his move isn't gonna be meaty and I can get past it then. But I think Gengar also struggles with range. Like, his biggest range move is his 6Y, which is a mix, which he has to mix up or he gets punished. Like, if he does a 6Y against Lucario and follows it up into anything, I can just E-speed. But if he just does a 6Y, no follow-up, it's safe. So, I'd say range is... And aside from that, he does not have a lot of range. And the fact that Astonish cancelling is unsafe against a lot of characters.
However, players who enjoy frustrating characters and powerful installs will like the premier Ghost Pokemon.
Hardest character in the game. I'm just going to say that outright. Gengar is the most difficult character to play. It's not just because of his combo games being a little difficult, it's because learning how to use like his combo game, his iframes, and everything else he's got all in tandem at once, it takes a long time. Gengar is a character that has to get probably more time put into him than any other. But he's hella rewarding. I wouldn't say he's the best character, but he's definitely up there as one of the strongest. Judgment Day. Judgment Day. I'm going to be judging this one very heavily. I will say the first thing I noticed is the Mega Lucario X and Y theme. I see you, Coro.
The poster boy of the game, Lucario,
Yes, a poster boy.
is a straightforward and easy to understand character.
I'll admit that Lucario is easy. I would say he's probably the easiest character in the game, maybe Blaziken. I would say Lucario is one of the easiest. He's definitely in the top 3 easiest characters.
That has strong neutral tools and simple but high damaging combos.
Toast, you could have done a more damaging one than that. I'm disappointed.
He's got a projectile, an armored dragon
A very good projectile actually. Aura Sphere is very underrated. And I get mad.
punch,
A Dragon Punch that's terrible at anti-airing, but it's very good as a reversal tool.
and an advancing move with lingering hitboxes. So those
It's not just an advancing move with lingering hitboxes, it's also a frame 15. It's one of the best, it is, in my opinion, the best whiff punish move in the entire game. I'm just gonna say that. I know people will say things like Aegislash 4Y and 6X, Breaks in 8X, Decidueye, Fury Cutter, Libre. Well, the Libre doesn't have great whiff punishers, but I do think it is the best. Simply because of the fact that it's frame 15 in both field and dual phase. It being unsafe, which kind of sucks, but aside from that, it's really great.
used
Also, I need to find this set, Wingtide vs. Swallow, because this was probably my favourite Wingtide set ever, and not because he's playing Lucario.
the Shoto archetype,
Yeah, Lucario's a Shoto. He's essentially Ryu. He's very, very similar to Ryu. Ryu and who is it from Tekken? Lars Alexanderson. So he's similar to Lars and Ryu. That's what we say. If you've ever played Street Fighter and you main Ryu, pick up Lucario and Pokken, you'll love him.
should feel at home. His burst mode greatly increases his damage output.
Gengar has the best burst mode, Lucario has the second best. I don't care what anyone says, that is true.
forcing opponents to respect it. And with an average size burst meter, he can enter
Average size, 150. That's above average. That is very good.
this mode once per round if the cards line up. While he's good at pretty much everything he doesn't quite excel in any specific area.
No. That's where I have to really disagree. Like, this is something that this is an argument I hate people making about Lucario. He's a jack of all trades, good at everything, master of nothing. Bollocks. Bollocks. First off, he's not good at everything. Is he a good zoner? No. He can zone against some characters, but he's not a zoner. So, first off, he's not good at everything. He's not a zoner like... He's not as good at Decidueye when it comes to zoning. But the things he does do, with punishing, pressure, defense, like a defensive Lucario is very hard to break through. All these things that he does very well. He's not good at everything, master of nothing. He's a master of a few things. And the things he is a master of are incredible. That's the only gripe I have, though I'm pretty sure people are divided on Lucario. Some say, oh, he's overrated, he's not good, he's not that good, and some say, yeah, he is that good. It's a very Lucario is a very divided character, but I'm in the boat that he is better than people say he is. Yeah, Lucario is basic, he's an entry-level character. And another good thing about Lucario is that his matchup chart is amazing. Like, I firmly believe that Lucario has no losing matchups. Meaning, if you need a good secondary, Lucario's right there. You cannot go wrong with a secondary Lucario. I think he's the best secondary character in the game. So I like the Lucario one, but I don't blame Coro for going with the whole good at everything, master of nothing, because a lot of people say that, but I don't agree with it. I really don't. If I hear a single, the champ isn't busted, I'm quitting this video.
Is a slow, lumbering truck that takes away a third of your health every time he gets close.
A third? I think he takes away half.
He has extremely good close quarters frame data.
He's got the best close quarters frame data, I would say. He's got 2 frame 11s for God's sake. Well, 3 if you count his grab.
That can lead to big damage specials or big damage command grabs. In addition, he can power up his next special with bulk up, increasing his damage.
See Aegiflash, this is how you do a power up. Imagine if the champ, the bulk up also did not just enhance his attacks but gave him an attack boost. The champ would be top fucking 3. Aegis privilege.
To ludicrous levels. His submission command grab never causes phase shift.
I'm not sure if it is the best move in the game, but I do think it's in the top 3. Submission is ridiculous.
And he has combo enders that don't add towards the phase shift points to determine when a phase shift occurs.
Clap it on him.
This lets him stay in dual phase longer, allowing him to continue his pressure. He isn't the most mobile of characters, and he can struggle to get in.
I will acknowledge that as a weakness, but he does have tools to get in, like Karate Chop, Wake Up Slap, Rolling Hammer.
But once he's in, he will show everyone why he's the premier grappler of the game.
He is the premier grappler. He is pretty simple. Like, I don't think the champ is hard. I think he's just... If you don't like RPSing, if you don't like grabbing people and mixing people up, you won't like Machamp, which is why I don't like him, because I'm not that kind of person. I prefer neutral, footsies, with punishing. I'm not all about getting up close to my opponent and making them guess on a 50-50. That's just not me. I can't do it, I'm not good at it, I don't like playing that way, so... I'll say that about Machamp, but yeah, I do agree with pretty much everything said about Machamp. That might come down with a cold, better not be. Okay, Mewtwo. Curious to see what Mewtwo said about... I'm curious if the weakness about Mewtwo that no one mentions will be brought up.
Mewtwo is a solid all-rounder character with some fun...
I'm sorry, I need to laugh at this. Defender of EU. Fucking Wingtide.
mobility tools. He's got great reach with a lot of his normals, and he has a fast air dash that he can attack out of.
Instant air
His
dashing.
primary projectile, Psycho Cut, has a follow-up lunge, which can be cancelled before the attack lands for mix-ups.
And too many people let him get away with it. That Cancel can be punished. It can be punished at certain ranges. Depending on your character and the lunge you have, but like Lucario can punish it with Bone Rush pretty much every time.
He has a command counter that can cancel into a grab or an attack. He also has a panic button in the form of the red armored move Side Strike.
It's a pretty bad panic button. Shadow Mewtwo's Side Strike is way better. I would say his best panic button is Shadow Punch. Fire Punch. Mostly because you can go for the first punch or the second punch. It's a panic button that you can mix up. And very few characters can true punish it. I'm pretty sure Pikachu and Lucario are the only two who can true punish it thanks to their frame 11 DPs.
Although it's unsafe on block.
Unsafe on everything.
Mewtwo has the largest synergy meter capacity in the game, which means he's not going to get burst often, especially as most of his specials drain his synergy meter as a side effect.
Yep.
He also lacks mids, which forces him to engage in high-low mix-ups when pressuring.
Yeah, his mid game is pretty whack. The only real mid that he's got is 6Y, which is just a poke, but I do think it's pretty good as a poke. Because it's like, I would compare it to 2Y. You can do a follow-up which is not safe, or you can just not do a follow-up. I mean, like Lucario's 2Y. I do think 6Y is underrated, and I'm very glad Mutator is the premier user of it.
Still, he's an honest character for players who enjoy an oppressive neutral.
He is honest and have a very oppressive neutral, but, as I predicted, another weakness of his that didn't get brought up, he struggles against burst opponents. Because his heavies are either not safe, or they just suck. Like, 8x. What are you going to do with 8x? If you want an overhead, you do instant air dashing, but you mess up an instant air dash against a burst opponent and you're gonna die for it. Especially if you have a good anti-air like Gengar. Mega Gengar. 6x is not safe, 5x cancelling the barrier, you can get fucked by doing that. 2xx is not a block string, so it just loses the counters. Fire Punch isn't safe because it's a DP, neither is Side Strike. Like, he does struggle against burst opponents, and that's something very few people talk about. But if you ask a lot of Mewtwo players, like I was talking to Fabi a while back, and he said, yeah, that's a major problem with Mewtwo. I wouldn't say it's a major problem, but it is a problem Mewtwo has. You do need to know how to play around it. I would say Mewtwo's intermediate. I wouldn't say he's easy, and I wouldn't say he's hard. People say he's harder than he is, but he's not. Unless you're terrible at doing just frames. Guilty as charged. Pika! I'm interested to see what Pika has said about, because Pikachu's never talked about.
This yellow mouse picked up a few tricks from the Mishima family, and he's an all-
From the Mishima family, yes! Pikachu is basically Heihachi. I like the fighting game references, Coro. I really do. I appreciate you.
All-rounder, similar to poster boy Lucario.
Yeah, he is an all-rounder. He is quite similar to Lucario, I'll say that right off the bat. I'll agree with that.
He's got some of the best frame data in the game, letting you pressure with ease. He's also pretty much guaranteed a burst mode every round.
Yep.
As his meter size is small, and he builds it quickly. Pikachu also possesses a simple but effective zoning game. And
an underrated zoning game. I mean, I don't think many Pikachu players have tapped it. Kino and Militime are the two. Kino and Militime and Paris are the ones I know.
Has a few long-range normals that helps him.
5x is one of the best 5x's in the game. It's amazing. I love Pikachu's 5x. If you gave that 5x to basically any other character, they would be amazing. But what's Pikachu's downsides?
Play footsies.
Footsies!
However, Pikachu's combo damage isn't the best, and he lacks strong anti-air tools.
Anti-airing with Pikachu is a fucking nightmare. I mean, he has 8Y, which sucks. Volt Tackle, which is a risky anti-air, because if you miss it, you're dead. And Release X, which is a good anti-air. It's frame 1 invincible, but it's a charged move. So it's not something you have quick and easy access to. You have to hold down the button and get the right timing, and it can cut off your other moves, and Release Y is not actually safe on block. It's minus 12. Not many people know that.
If you prefer a more momentum-based flavor of all-rounder, Heihachi might be up your alley.
Did he say Heihachi? Did I hear that wrong, or did you say Heihachi? That is amazing. I love you, Coro. But yeah, Pikachu, I'd say, is basic, but I think that what makes Pikachu harder at the higher levels is his just frames on 6Y. You really have to get used to those. Like, I'm personally not used to them because I suck at just frames. But, yeah, pressure all-rounder. He is pretty good at mix-ups because his grab does a lot of damage, 120, and he has Nuzzle, a pretty good command grab. But Pikachu does lack in damage, his anti-airs suck, and he does have 8x, not 5x, and Iron Tail, which are good for range and zoning people out at the Footsie's range, but that's really it. He can get out-zoned pretty easily. But yeah, I'll agree with a lot of the things said about Pikachu. No! Kill it! Kill it! I hate Libre.
Pikachu Libre has some of the most brutal mix-ups in the game.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not sure they're more brutal than Machamp. I think Libre might have more mix-ups than Machamp. They're not as terrifying, but more mix-ups are always scarier.
And being stuck in the corner against her is one of the scariest situations you can find yourself in.
It's not just a scary situation. Like, grapplers are meant to put fear into you, but Libre in particular is just frustrating. She is if you don't main Libre, you hate Libre. I'm gonna say that right now. If you don't main her, you hate her. I've not met one person who doesn't main Libre who likes fighting her. And most Libre players know it, so they just be obnoxious as fuck.
She possesses a command dodge that can be followed up by a number of options. And
it's not as good as people say it is, mostly because long-lasting, lingering projectiles will just beat out Double Team. But against projectiles that don't really do a lot, it's great.
Dodge that can let her wall jump. A command counter that blasts her forward.
I'm pretty sure Coro is a Libre main.
And perhaps most infamously, her all-purpose Electro Web command grab.
Electro Web is the most annoying command grab in the game. I don't think it's better than Submission, because Submission is just busted from the way it can absorb projectiles and can be perfect blocked with, but Libre's up there.
Which inflicts a speed down debuff. If she manages to get a phase shift with any of her specials, she can also enter an enhanced state.
The enhanced state is annoying. Again, I don't think it's as brain dead as Agent Slashies, but it's just annoying to deal with. No one likes enhanced Libre. I think that's what ultimately pushes her over the edge. I think without the enhanced she would be good, but meh. But the enhanced pushes her over the edge.
It grants her a variety of benefits, including plus frames, stuns, or increased damage.
All of which suck.
Pikachu Libre does have stubby normals, and a lack of zoning options.
I wouldn't say it's the lack of zoning options, but stubby normals, lack of zoning options is her downside. But the other main downside that she has is her neutral is garbage. Which makes sense, she's a grappler. Grapplers aren't meant to have good neutrals. But she can struggle in neutral. So I will say that's another downside she has.
Really need those to excel.
But I do like that the stubby normals and lack of zoning was mentioned. I do think Libre is brain dead. Libre is really basic and easy to do. Libre is an entry-level character. I would say she's a bit easier than normal Pikachu, and people say he's easy. Show me the way of Sceptile, because I've always been critical of Sceptile, but I've taken that back now. I realise I was wrong about how good Sceptile is.
Sceptile is a high mobility character that can convert into damage from almost any stray hit.
Yeah.
He can put down delayed traps that force the opponent to block, lest they get open up for a combo.
That's so dumb.
His Leaf Blade command counter reaches far, and his Giga Drain command grab threatens at long range. With his fast dash and good pokes, Sceptile keeps the pressure on and capitalizes off each little mistake.
Yeah, and
forcing the opponent onto the defensive.
I will agree with all that.
However,
okay, we're getting into the downsides, but I think another advantage Sceptile has is that he can zone. Not zone in the traditional sense, but he's a trapper. He can set down leech seeds and bullet seeds to set up his garden, as people call it, and it's really frustrating to approach. Like, if you're a character that struggles to approach, you will struggle against Sceptile if he decides to get really campy. And he's pretty good up close, his mid-game range is good. I will admit, a lot of the opinions I had about Sceptile has changed. I used to think he was pretty meh, but now I think he's amazing. It isn't fun being wrong.
Most characters have ways to respond to his traps, and
Yeah.
outside of his command counter, he lacks strong defensive options, particularly against grabs.
Yeah, that is one thing about Sceptile that very few people mention. Defensively, he sucks. Like, you get Sceptile in the corner, what do we all do? Detect. So, you can grab him, and if you don't want to grab him, if you think he's going to tech the grab, you can just wait and punish it. You'll probably GX, which you can punish on reaction with counter. And if he does do detect and commits in, you can either grab it, or if he commits into it, he'll swing. You can do a back jump and something like a JY, or whatever you've got, and catch him. I do think that's a pretty big weakness, but also, on whiff, Sceptile's terrible. Like, 5Y and 5X on whiff are so laggy. So if you've got a really good footsies and punish game, Sceptile can struggle. And he does struggle to open up other defensive characters. Like, if you get a health lead against Sceptile and you decide to take it a little slow, he needs to make a commitment. And that's where he can fall apart if he guesses wrong. Like, when you're behind and you have to make a commitment to win, then you're already at a disadvantage. And Sceptile does have that. People are going to yell at me for criticizing Sceptile. You're wrong, Sceptile's busted. I know he's busted. Hard? I wouldn't say it's hard. I would say intermediate. The swallow level's a little hard, but that's the highest level potential of every character, and that's pretty difficult to get to for everyone. So, I don't say he's hard, I would say intermediate. The bug. I want to see what people say about the bug. Because very few people can categorize him correctly. Very few people understand what Scissor's about.
Caesar is an interesting mix of zoning and high damage confirms.
Zoning! He said zoning! Coro, you're dead on right, and I love you for it. People say Scissor's not a zoner. Bitch, have you seen that counter Sword Stance 4X? He's a zoner. I would say he's actually the guile of this game, which some people might think is weird, but have you seen the... But think of it, Sword Stance is your Sonic Boom, and U-Turn is your Flash Kick.
Possessing unique neutral options that are difficult to execute, but extremely rewarding. He can hover dash, deleting light projectiles in the process.
And that's where people make the mistake. They think, all projectiles. No, it's just light ones. Like, that's why he can't really hover through Lucario's Aura Sphere, because it's not a light projectile. Well, the charged versions, anyway.
And he can move while holding down his universal counter.
Which is his best move, and I hate it. I hate that his counter is that obnoxious. Just bring him Olga.
Caesar also has a command counter, Sword Stance, which can be either used for zoning or stocked to extend combos.
It is very punishable on whiff, but no one ever whiff punishes it. I mean, I've been guilty of that. I've had Scissor's Sword Stance right in front of me when I was in burst and I didn't do anything. I've learned my lesson.
His movement options, while hard to execute properly, makes him a strong and slippery target that can open you up from mid-screen into some of the flashiest combos in the game. Caesar lacks any real ways to pressure someone up close,
Yeah.
as most of his moves are either unsafe on block or can be avoided in some way or other.
Yeah, like, the hover Y, that thing's minus 12. Yeah, he can cancel it into things like Bullet Punch and X Scissor, but if you've got a frame 11 DP, you mash that shit. Bullet Punch is the same, it's minus 12. And yeah, he can cancel it, but what does he typically cancel it into? X Scissor? That's a mid-low, you can jump that. Then he just has to either do no follow-up, or, which can get him punished, because if you just mash a punish against Bullet Punch, then fine. or Silver Wind, which to catch your jump, but again that's risky. Like, a lot of people don't realise that Scizor sucks up close, but he's more of a character not to pressure someone up close, but just to whiff punish someone up close. Like, if he'll either hit you with a Sword Stance and then confirm it, or you'll whiff and then he'll get you with something like an X-Scissor. Or he'll zone you out. Evasive Whiff Punisher. Evasive Whiff Punisher, that is probably the best description of Scizor I've heard. Well done, Coro. I'm really proud of you for that one, because I'm sick of people saying Scizor's a rushdown character. He is not. Evasive Whiff Punisher. Hard? I'm not sure if he's hard, but I was never able to master Scizor, but I didn't put a lot of time into it. I think if I did, I could get him, but not in the same way I could if I tried to master someone like Gengar. Judgment Day is upon us, boys! I'm gonna be critical of this one.
Shadow Mewtwo is the boss character of Pokken, and he has the moveset to prove it.
Yep.
He has strong, long-reaching
Except I still want the boss fight Shadow Mewtwo to be playable, even if it's offline only.
Normals and powerful specials. He has a special, Miracle Eye, which can cause various wacky effects to happen, like projectiles reversing, turning into mirrors, or energy pillars reappearing where they were initially placed.
Cancelling moves, that's another good one into mix-ups, right there.
If that's not enough, Shadow Mewtwo has a small capacity burst meter, granting him access to burst regularly. Shadow Mewtwo's powerful moveset comes at the expense of the lowest health in the game, and a good portion of his specials dealing recoil damage on top of that.
Yep.
Making him the most glass cannon of the cast.
He is a glass cannon. He is a glass cannon, he will die the quickest. But what is it about glass cannons? They are frail. Oh, that's the glass part, but also the cannon part. Shadow Mewtwo could rip you to shreds in seconds. Shadow Mewtwo is a very strong character.
Playing Shadow Mewtwo requires knowing when to make use of your powerful tools, and when to back off and manage your health.
Yep, I'll agree with that. When to throw them away and recover, and when to keep the pressure up.
With his healing special, or through the phase shift and burst mechanics.
I will agree with a lot that was said there about Shadow Mewtwo. I'm very impressed. Okay, first off, I had to close that blind because the sun was coming into my eyes, but Shadow Mewtwo, I feel, would be, if you didn't have the health and recoil, he'd be the best character in the game. Like, he has basically everything you'd want. He has pressure, he has mix-ups, he has great frame data, he has long-lasting massive hitboxes, he has a great neutral, defensively he's great, he's got a great get-off-me tool, great burst option, and some great damage. The only downside is the health and weakness, but if he didn't have those, he'd be busted. He'd be best character in the game. If he had like 600 health, no recoil, he would be the best character. And I would say that you'd be an idiot not to play him. Only 2 characters left. Oh wait, I've muted it. Which is Suicune and Weavile. Those are the real 2 like that. And one more thing about Shadow Mewtwo. I do think he's an intermediate character. Like, people think Shadow Mewtwo's really hard because the game says he's technical. He's not. He's really not. I think the hardest thing about Shadow Mewtwo is understanding how to manage your health, like as Coro said, when to be defensive and heal, and when to be aggressive. That is the hardest thing about Shadow Mewtwo, but you just learn that. I don't think he's as hard as people say he is. He's a great 3v3 character. If you need a 3v3 character, pick up Shadow Mewtwo. He's pretty easy, and he's, well, intermediate. But he's also incredible in 3v3. I'm just throwing that out there. Suicune's a character I've been critical of in the past, so let's see if we can change my mind on him.
Suicune is a zoner that excels in mid-range and
Is he a zoner? I don't really know. I don't think he's a good zoner. But he does excel at mid-range.
Frustrating approaching opponents. Several of his moves can be cancelled, giving him some mix-up options. Up close, he has reliable buttons, but they don't lend themselves well to continuing pressure.
Yeah, he does have good moves, but they're not very good for pressuring. He struggles to open people up.
He also loves to control the skies with his powerful anti-air game. Suicune is a slow character, and his projectiles tend to get beaten out by other characters.
Yeah, his projectiles are either really laggy or just get invalidated by anti-zoning and other zoners. And before anyone says, but Miracle sucks. It has such a low startup and you can just avoid it by, like, this is a favourite thing I like to do with Shadow Mewtwo. Side Y from full screen, that's easy to Miracle. You just Miracled it, but then I JY, jump over the Miracle hitbox, JY confirm into a Thunder, forward Y, 3-phase shift. I can't snap my fingers as well. I don't know why I try, but Miracle is pretty whack.
His game plan is also a bit linear, and he lacks a good piercing option.
Yeah, that's why his Oki game is so bad. Like, what Okis does he have? 8x, 5y into 2x? You can just block against Suicune most times because him grabbing you isn't too risky. And if he tries to grab you and you do actually read it and grab push him, oof, it's gonna hurt.
For a simple but versatile character, with a leaning towards zoning, Suicune is a good character to pick up, but might struggle a bit in some matchups at a high level.
That is actually a very good description of Suicune. A basic character, but it's a little more versatile and leaning towards zoning. That is actually probably the best description of Suicune I've ever heard. And he does struggle at higher levels in certain matchups. That is another good thing. Like, I know Burnside loves to go on saying that Suicune's matchup chart isn't as bad as people say it is, and maybe he's right, because I don't really think highly of Suicune, and I'm stuck in the past, and I still think too much about Wii U Suicune, but I could be wrong. I want to see the Suicune meta develop. But I really love this description of Suicune. Basic, yeah, he's pretty simple. He's pretty simple and easy to learn. Zoner, versatile, yeah, I'll agree with that. Now, just Weavile and that's us done. But Suicune get my seal of approval. Again, Weavile is a character I've been...
Weavile's defining trait is his speed, letting him play in versatile ways.
Fastest character in the game?
He has attacks that reduce the opponent's synergy gauge,
Yep.
which, coupled with his own small size gauge, means he can control the pace of burst use in the match.
Very good in 3v3. That's very powerful in the 3v3 meta. And I think he's underrated in 3v3.
He possesses fast jabs and icicle zoning from awkward angles.
The icicle zoning kind of sucks because it's not really threatening and you can just see DC it for 3 meter. So the zoning sucks, unfortunately. But that's how it should be because he needs to be up close.
Letting him harass the opponent with ease. While his walk speed makes him very slippery, Weavile doesn't have the best pokes, so he has to play footsies using only walking or his lunges.
Yeah, Weavile's range is probably his biggest weakness. I mean, he has 6Y, but that's not threatening. 6Y is just annoying because Weavile players will just mix you up after it with mix-ups that don't really work considering how... It's not even... You can't even combo 6Y. Unless you crit or anti-air it. Is it crit? I don't know. But Weavile's mix-up games is awful. His mix-up game and his range is his problem. Like his mix-up game, what does he have? What does he have? Like charged fake out? Considering you just mash 8Y and that works against even non-charged versions. Jump. You can jump out the corner against him really easily unless he's mashing that 8Y. Which is good because 8Y into Icicle Crash, it's safe against pretty much the entire cast, I'm pretty sure. I don't think it's safe against Lucario, but that's really the only one I can think of. Who happens to be my own main, so of course he's come to mind first. And then, like, his grab is really weak. That's what I'll say about Weavile.
His damage output is also on the lower side.
Forgot that point. His damage output is low. Thanks for reminding me.
Still, if you value versatility and controlling the pace of the match, Weavile is your character.
Yeah, versatility, controlling the pace of the match, and being intimidating up close is good, but if you need mix-ups, damage, or pressure, mix-up, damage, or range, that's where Weavile kind of falls apart. I'm not sure if Weavile's intermediate or hard. I suck with him personally. But that's it. Okay, we'll just watch the outro and I'll give my final thoughts on this.
Thanks for watching this character overview. If you'd like to learn more about Pokken or find some people to play with, feel free to join the community Discord at the link in the description.
Right here. Right here. Yeah, I actually really did enjoy this video. I can see why people were recommending it. It is... I agreed with pretty much every point that was said. The only one I was a little critical of was, my boy. But of course I am, because I'm always been an advocate for Lucario is good, and if you disagree, I think there's something wrong with you. But yeah, I really enjoyed this video. This video's gone on way longer than I intended. I did not intend it to be over an hour long. It's an hour and about 15 minutes I've been going on at this, and my voice is dying. But I just want to say it's a very good video. Like, if you're new to Pokken, I would definitely recommend you check this out and watch it a couple of times. And as Coro said, join the Discord. Here it's here. It's very good. It's very, very good. And I am embarrassing myself. But yeah, it's a very good video. I was very pleased with it. I agreed with a lot of the points. I can see why people recommend it. Good job, Coro. You get the DualDEATHLucario seal of approval. But I want to say thank you all very much for watching. If you guys have enjoyed this video, feel free to let me know with a like and a comment. That would be cool. If you would like to see more Pokken Tournament DX action, then hit that subscribe button, ring that bell, turn on notifications so you never miss a video. I'm DualDEATHLucario, thank you all for watching, join the Pokken Community Discord, and if you see Coro, tell him that I said hi and it was a great video. Thank you all for watching, see you in the next one, bye bye.